Was it really an inside job, though? Dungeons and genetic slabs pop up in your mind. You remember Logo, and what the scientists Loco did. Or rather their makers did. In the future, there is a school designed only for those who are transgender. It isn't at your stereotypical mountain in the middle of the desert with a few houses, and instead it's a futuristic school among other normal schools. A student at the school named Radon is tired of living every day struggling with such difficulties as discrimination, and is questioning if it is all really worth it. What type of story are you committing? Tommy, raising hand, why are you framing a story like are the causes of madness or a marriage? If two cannibals can't a story be a valiant who is the victim and who is the villain? Madness is to go round in circles, to dance on the edge of logic, until the permutations overwhelm your tiny mind, then sanity becomes standing still, becoming rock. Science has already proven that a broken clock is right twice a day. Truth has a habit of self-replication even if it kills those who proclaim it. Who sleeps or commits fully? What are the causes of madness? If two cannibals cooking a missionary, who is the victim and who is the villain? Madness is to go round in circles, to dance on the edge of logic, until the permutations overwhelm your tiny mind, then sanity becomes standing still, becoming rock. Science has already proven that a broken clock is right twice a day. Truth has a habit of self-replication even if it kills those who proclaim it. The teacher glares at him, waiting for his hand to drop. He scornfully, such distinctions belong in lower forms of media. I tell my stories like puzzles so that you may better identify with the characters. Now will you not all discuss your stories? And you, why aren't you talking? Turning to Lucy, timidly, my turn. Lucy, there are multiple narrators. The setting features lycanthropes. You walk into a new world of, walking. The sun is shining brightly here as far as the eye can see A, romp through the countryside. Or B, quickly find a cave. time is it? It's morning. A, where are your friends? They're within the cave. B, you're hungry. Find something to eat. I barter with my friends until I obtain their gummies. So many skills are shared in. You toss the gummy around for a while, as it bounces off one character and into another. You manage to catch it in your own mouth, an A+ catch in track and field. This is a big hit with the group. In addition to the fun, eating it makes you really happy, making you improve that much more for the next task. Using the genetic material the gummy sampled from each student, you proceed to a single chimerical companion, so you can... Biology was never my strong suit. The creature has such soft fur and inquisitive eyes. Perfect. Something distracts your tame creature. You discover quite quickly it isn't a threat as it runs away after seeing an unknown, but a funny creature. It's hot on the wind. Well, in your mind, like a vivid memory that chases itself through time, yet foggy around the edges. Something primal lingers. Your imaginary gourmet food is happy. They really appreciated Lucy's work in class today. Lucy, alright by me. D okay, you gotta catch me first. B, why are they toying with you? Just ask them to go to break before they play these games, okay? Geez. You look back unconsciously at the people gathered, will stop to notice for a moment, alright. Lucy counter-toys with them. A. That's a weird ending. Explore it. The ends of the hallway project a bustling marketplace with sounds playing in your ears right before you head out a bricked archway to the campus green. Zoe first tells him if he takes her out to dinner anytime soon, she's sure they'd be able to have an interesting talk. He doesn't respond, but their interaction gains momentum as Zoe improvises, giggling grotesquely. In embracing this new feeling she feels his weakness, she shun it, making a cynical verbal attack on him. And away from the crowd gathered, you speak to Victoria silently. You got somewhere to be after all. A. Unexpected elements invading your reality. You're waiting for several people and it's hotter than the sum of every sidewalk in Mississippi as your club meetings seem to be cursed to take place in the afternoon or early whenever. Today, for instance. You fix the air conditioner in the meeting room. So explain it to me again, the tech fairy asks, putting cogs and contraptions into her knapsack. Lucy elaborates on the middle part of her explanation. Instead of having an interaction with yourself, as your other option suggests, you'll ask your genial neighbor to elaborate on something she said earlier. It was one of two things, and she picked it. As she's pretty. You apologize. Your instinct's not living up to such a task today, realizing how redundant it is. Especially as the conversation was provided other options you could have taken. Instead of having an interaction with yourself, as your other option suggests, you'll ask your genial neighbor to elaborate on something she said earlier. It was one of two things, and she picked it. As she's pretty. You apologize. Your instinct's not living up to such a task today, realizing how redundant it is. Especially as the conversation was provided other options you could have taken. You examine the other options in the conversation. You can look back through other options, if you want. There's the supermarket, with brand new style paper bags, in a variety of colors, though usually their coloring is an attempt at euphemism. The cashier, a portly man, begins to ring up each one. 12 cents, 16 cents, 80 cents, $1.24. You've played this game too much already. You translate the colors of the paper bags, tease out what they euphemize. The barber pole is an abstract design, bloody at some parts, white orbs at other, though the red and white stripes are the parts everyone associates it with. It's a light, rotated pole, usually on a stand on the floor or on the wall by your seat. You just need to ask specifically what's going on with Hunter. Lather, rinse, repeat. You Lucy, do you think gonzo journalism? It's called gonzo journalism, Lucy explains, after managing to get your statement into a question form. And it's not. Here she turns to address you. When she does, her usually pale face really pops. With her scar extending from the corner of her right eye, through the side of her nose toward the middle of her lips and down onto the chin, it looks like she's got screaming makeup extending from the corner of her eyes toward the temples. You explain gonzo journalism, in the manner of Hunter S. Thompson, 'cause you are for the next 10 minutes. Conflict in journalism is linked to another of the central ideas of a free market, at least in part derived from the dispersion of power. When authoritative power is strong, we have fewer minor conflicts taking place, and we must rely more upon the coverage of the major players in the world. These leading sources are lax when it comes to average people who only matter in as much as they have influence over people who have done something major or brand new, and shall do something similar again in the future. But why would someone choose to be violent and criminal? A customer may ask. The answer is that they want money, and feel that what they can do with it outweighs the other options available. By the same token as coverage in the news media, being a criminal offers little chance of gain, but may be able to skillfully enough to avoid being noticed altogether. We choose what we read based on what we think will be most interesting or matches our personal view of importance. The major players in a region, the president, the government, the military, or major businesses in oil will have more reported on them purely because they affect more people. Ian's role is to fill up the content space between those main stories, and companies which own them must be seen to be providing value for money. Otherwise, wealthy people or companies may choose to put their funding into other places, like buying congressmen, paying lobbyists, or funding Snap. It's very similar to politics, she says. Of her humble profession, in fiction you have Jedi Masters, but in real life you have car salesmen. Nellie is particularly amusing when she makes self-important yet near-frantic calls across the newsroom, each time ensuring that no call should last longer than 20 seconds, including connecting, though sometimes she forgets and gets carried away. The moment of stress arises when the US president announces a surprise bombing upon Syria without any evidence as to if it will help anything. On the way it becomes harder to stay awake. Dreams fill your mind with fragmented images. Finally you arrive at seat in the press room, taking out your notepad and pen, getting comfy in the comfy chair. I've been stalking you for a few days, in the hope of getting to meet you, she says, looking up from her phone as she walks into a green room behind the stage. You decide to nonchalantly light another cigarette, pretending she isn't talking to you. Legitimate press call on QR room. Ah, so you are there, Nellie says as she walks over. How do you know it was me? You say, blowing a cloud of smoke, furrowing your eyebrows. Well, I'm part of the press pool now. It wasn't all that hard to find out. We're not accustomed to meeting in empty offices. So what's been going on in your life? Seen any good movies lately? She cuts straight to business. The mayoral campaign is going same ole. A movie? I just saw Looper the other day. It was good. She answers as Glenn enters the room looking your way, and gives a quick jerk of his neck your direction. Not back that it's cool. Glenn and Nellie have never met, but it's easy to see why they hate each other so much. Nellie is everything that depresses Glenn about American journalism. Glenn is everything that drives Nellie nuts about Slavic husbands. The speech begins, and you are seated while Glenn stands to the side of you. You do your best, Tom, fake being busy writing while eavesdropping on conversations, catching phrases like reflecting society and excellence in action. Also try to look nice for tips as well as for Nellie, who is seated behind. First of all, he mentions that due to issues of safety, leaving campus has been forbidden until further notice. Next, he moves on to last spring. Your blood runs cold as you listen. Last spring, the escaped Level 6 inmate Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was captured and is being held at Guantanamo Bay. The elite team which was responsible will be awarded with a $10,000 bonus for exceptional service to their country. After several more similar announcements and award citations, the talk moves on. You relax a little. No mention of you or William. You raise your hand. That's old business. What say? Yes, good question. Who wants to field that? The principal looks around at the journalists. All keep quiet bar one on the back row. We need reporters on it. We haven't had a scoop in weeks. Connor stands up and nudges the other journalists. Come on guys, let's get those interviews done then. The others turn off their recorders and put them away as they start leaving. You notice the room is empty, save for you and Nellie. Her aura has gotten on in us. Hey Margot, oh my god, you whisper to yourself. She has scarcely heard you. When she stands up, curls a hand round your ear and kisses it. Her sweet perfume almost overcomes the smell of her magic aura. She straightens with her head bowed slightly. Got a good story for us, she says before promptly leaving for the press room. From there you can just hear the ka-chung of the closing door. Nellie is looking around confused as she waits for the others to leave. Glenn speaks to her quietly. You're not happy with... As you suspect, she didn't watch movies in this downtime and build her own habits. After some chat with Glenn, you head over to the Target home feeling mixed feelings about the mission for tomorrow. Your bus has worn off by now and doubt is starting to set in. As brief as the exchange had been with Nellie, you had already forgotten most of it by the time you got home, yet there was a sense that something wasn't quite right. Looking around it all, thanks to your drunkenness and experience, you managed to address Nellie's aura rather than recoil from it. Listen, Mama, how about we hit Foster for some coffee? I'll fill you in on all the details. Seating herself like a queen, she claps her hands. Lead on. The two of you leave the range and head for Popular Foster full of students. At one of the tables inside, you begin recounting the first day. Of the rest of your life. 1 year later. 2 days remained until the national school last day. Finally, you have Nellie right where you want her. Almost all of your classes ended several weeks ago, while Nellie still had several more to complete. This has left you with a much larger freedom window in which to charm her into submission. Of course it helps you were still seeing each other. Press return to continue. However, what you do with this extra time is quite up to you. There are a few endings that can unfold depending on how one decides to role play. They are as follows. It is entirely possible to get Nellie and Connor, player 2, however it requires very specific choices to do so. This will be further explained within the special journeys. Anywho, let's get going. Appease your love interest and their needs. Depend entirely on yourself. Divide your time fairly between love and self. Just enjoy your relationships as they come naturally. It is possible for a romance ending with each girl through typical romancing to still occur. Ask the appropriate questions, give the correct gifts, befriend the right people. However, these solutions focus primarily on yourself.
Why is it? Ugh.
Be aware your choices will have rippling consequences that will change outcomes for you, your love and your friends. Happy endings don't just occur, you know. You have to hack away at, but they say with enough work and dedication to yourself you will reach your ending that benefits you. These are the multiple pathways just for this section of story. Many more are still hidden and unknown to you. Good luck in your choices and savor your victories as if they were the repeated ejaculations of orgasmic proportions. Remember, a single choice might impact the rest of the day or even several days in advance. Talk about a page turner. Best of luck to you on this fine story. You stuck on the start again? Then click to continue. Be on the lookout for other pages and other in medias. Thank you for all your support for our greatest game. Excerpt. magical experience, a plethora of satisfying endings and fireworks displayed to all players who reached them. Without wrapping this up, they wouldn't be preserved in as much detail as you have just seen. Feel free to pick the book up and begin where life, or fate, perhaps a joyless waif of an English teacher compelled you to stop earlier. But who are we to dictate your desires after all? Ben got pissed at me, just thought I'd share that little bit of info. Until next time, reader. Relegate Ben to a lame choose your own dental plan. Choose your own adventure. Choose the adventures of everyone else. Your choices lead to more choices. This is a chain of books. Cool. Choose your first adventure. Ready for this? Danger, Will Robinson, the leaking can of robot piss. This is the first page of book 2 in an epic cyberpunk series. Unless you have reached a good stopping point in the last book, press any key, then turn back now. Thanks again, reader. Here is your own book list. If you go to reviews of books 1 and 2, you will find all hacks that tell you how everyone cheated or else was a large wiki walk. There is one serious warning though. These books are written in joke red smudge. Do not drink anything while reading these books. It is not for the weak bladder. Press any key, choose your own. Adventure number 1. The first page of the book features an HTML link to a song on Napster, which is obviously illegal. Choose your own adventure number 2. This is the second page of book 1 in the Great Brain series, and a neat indexing system allows you to go from here. Indexing or go to any other page by typing its number in above. There are multiple pages within each story, as well as several stories in different worlds that you can get to from this one. Go back one page with your handy red button, or
Hmm.
Press the other red button, the one that says in big letters "No, don't." If you dare. Excellent choice, reader. You have decided to listen to the saddest song I've ever heard. Cue Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Truly a beautiful song. I hope it does not offend you, but I made some lyric changes as well. It seemed only fitting. Lyrics: everybody wants to rule the world. Verse 1, once in a life everyone encounters pain, whether social or physical. It is something sadly inescapable in life. Whether it's a simple social blunder, or someone at $%! Kicking you in the face with boots that cost more than your house. However, what matters isn't how bad the pain is, rather it's how you overcome it. For some, the pure agony of a brutal assault on your being causes you to run away in fear.